let me set the scene here, because everyone has to understand you're just getting little leaks from Politico and you're getting little leaks from The Hill. Everyone knows she's about to lose. Let's drop the charade, because it's important to understand the context here. This is a Hail Mary. This campaign is supposed to be delivering its closing message to voters right now. But anyone who's ever been in a campaign you have been into, this is your last week. After this week, it shifts gears, and we've talked about the execution phase. Textbook campaigning. Next week is the execution phase. I mean, there's no persuading anybody anymore. It's either you convince the other side's voters to not vote somehow. You try to, I mean, that's the way the game is. It sounds horrible, but that's the way the game is. And you convince your voters to vote. And the research shows that you're really not persuading anybody anymore after this final week. So she's forsaking all of that and instead elevates a story of everyone knows is not true, to the level of a presidential campaign holding a press conference. This is how desperate she is. It's that bad. It really is that bad. And we're all supposed to be entertaining these stories. Look, this is a person who is a serial fabricator. I'm talking about Jeffrey Goldberg. He's a serial fabricator who went to a person who was the only on the record source of the last fabrication that he published, right? Dating back to the prior election, weeks before, dropping a bomb just like he did now. And basically, we're all supposed to believe this is something new, when all of the people who also were interviewed by Jeffrey Goldberg, either within an hour, there were multiple people who came out and said, he interviewed me for this story, and I debunked this point. He didn't include it. He interviewed me for this story, and I said this. He twisted my words. Like, this is a load of horse shit. And if you continuously do this every time, then we're just headed for a very bad place.
I mean, listen. A couple things. Halpern talked about what you're talking about, like the October surprise bullshit, and let me play the sound.
But this isn't even that. This is like a rigged smear.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like an October surprise.
Goldberg
opposition.
Goldberg was involved in last October surprise and the suckers and losers bullshit. It's ridiculous.
Which multiple people on the record came out and called, and I will not call him general. I don't have any respect for this guy. I don't care about his story. I don't care about the family story. I don't give a shit. I don't care. You've put your personal grievances above the sovereignty of the voter. You have this much respect in my eyes. I don't care at all about anything you say or what uniform you wear. I'm not in the damn army anymore. I don't owe him shit. I don't owe him a salute. I don't owe him nothing. I owe him my legit opinion about who I think he is. And I mean, I don't know if I guess you did see my tweet before. This whole story is being delivered to people without the backstory of why John Kelly fell out of favor with Trump, why he is a
get into it. Get into it. I was going to play the Halpern
disobeyed the commander in chief. He's part of a rogue element of the president's administration who thinks he's better than the commander in chief, who thinks he knows better than the commander in chief. Mad Dog Mattis can be thrown in with it. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was April 2018. Situation Room. I get this whole story from somebody because probably isn't that hard to figure out who. Donald Trump goes in, he's questioning them about what the hell is going on in Syria. I told you I didn't want this. By the way, where's my exit strategy for Afghanistan?
And by the way, Joe Kent's wife was caught up in all.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there because John Kelly and Mad Dog Mattis think they know better than the president of the United States and the people who elected him. Joe Kent's wife is dead because they disobeyed the president who told them, we're not pulling this shit in Syria. I know what you're doing. And this is what he did, folks. He sat him down. He said, I know what you're doing. I'm not, basically, I'm not a sucker. I'm not a sucker. Not that he said they're a sucker. I'm not a sucker. I know what you're doing. You are not going to pull some black op regime change on my watch. I want them out of there. And oh, by the way, am I making you mad? Tough shit. I want a strategy for getting out of Afghanistan. The next time I have you all in this room, I want you to do that. That day, I want to see it. That day, Mad Dog and Kelly leave the Situation Room and decide they're going to go leak to CNN and destroy this guy, because their wars and their military industrial complex means more to them than the sacred relationship between the voter and the executive, otherwise known as the president of this country. They think they know better than the duly elected president. And it doesn't matter if they don't agree with him, they don't have to listen to him. And they can go on and do whatever they want. And because they did, Joe Kent's wife is in the ground, which, by the way, would be a massive news story. The man ran for Congress. If the roles were reversed, could you imagine if this happened to Barack Obama and then a Democratic congressman's wife was killed because these people disobeyed the orders of the president? Come on. There's a word for that.
I mean, Rich,
there's a word for disobeying the chain of command, Sean. There's a word for it.
You won't
end up in a fucking hole when you do it.
You won't get any argument from me. I completely agree with you. Joe is on this show. I mean, look, this is not this is not speculation. For OG members of the Battle Crew, people who listen and watch the show, Joe Kent has been on the show and has told his side of the story, and his wife shouldn't have been there. They were trying. If it were up to Trump, she would have been out of there long before she was killed.
He told them to fold it. They didn't listen. And look, no matter what you think of Donald Trump, are you so blind with your own hatred that you cannot see the danger of a military junta running around doing whatever the hell they want, and then they call him Hitler and a fascist? Here's the most ridiculous element of all of this, okay? We're acting as if fascism doesn't have a definition. In fact, they are the fascist in this scenario, okay? A fascist like Hitler created a military-industrial complex. He fathered it, and then he waged war on everybody with it. Trump is hated by the military-industrial complex because he will not wage war. There's a huge difference. It's so Orwellian, it's unbelievable.